time. Maria, coach me, Maria, Maria Salomao-Schmdit. And I don't know, we've known each other for, gosh, it's 15 years or I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that.
In
Maria,
this lifetime.
yeah, in this lifetime. Maria is the author of the book Finally Full of Yourself, Unlocking Your Spiritual DNA, which is a very good topic for right now. She's a coach. She's a fantastic coach. Sort of in the women's empowerment and leadership space is where she's working, and she has some really cool street creds. Like she was a guest on Oprah. She's I think her life is about inspiring people to live as authentically as we can. And when we were talking about what we were going to talk about today, that's sort of what came up for both of us, is being authentic in this time. And it sure is flipping weird out there, isn't it?
It's so flipping weird. And that's a good expression, flipping.
Flipping.
Because it's flipping something, and it's
Yes.
flipping something. If you're resistant to the flip, you are really flopping.
I had this like feeling. Yesterday was a super hard day for me, and I know it was for a lot of people. And I just feel like the morphic field, or the hive mind of the world right now, is like so stressed and freaked out and sad. And for us sensitive types, it's really hard. And I just couldn't get out from under it yesterday. And I felt like I had this feeling like I felt like somebody turned up gravity. So I was like,
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps as you're saying that all over my legs, like
so like
really, like
so heavy,
hardcore,
it
like.
felt so heavy. And I had this feeling of like round around, and it was raining, like pouring rain and cold here in New England. And I had this feeling of like being in a meat grinder, of like, or being in a blender, like where and there wasn't anything I could do really except surrender to it. And I'm very skilled in managing my own emotions and like, handling shit. Like I've got like every tool in the toolbook, like, therapy and energy medicine and this, blah, blah, blah. I got all these stuff, and none of it was working yesterday. I was just like, I'm going to surrender to the blender. And
Oh my God, you
that
need to coin that. Surrender to the blender, because
surrender
that's
to
what
the
it was.
blender. That's what it was.
It felt horrible, and that's so funny that you say that, because sometimes, when you do this for other people, you're thinking, okay, I'm the expert. This shouldn't be happening to me. Like you said, I have so many tools in my toolbox. I'll whip out this, I'll whip out that, and nothing was working. It was like, to me, it felt like someone took me and went, boom, this is where you're going to stay right now. You're just going to stay
Yeah.
here. Like someone was sitting on me. And
Yeah.
I went like crying, and, um, because, my diagnosis with breast cancer, oh shit, does this mean I'm going to die? Is this my body like saying you're really going to die? What you've done is wrong. Like, is that whole, like the fear comes up, and what did I do wrong? And it's like your demons are coming up big time right now, because as the times shift, and that's why I wanted, when you asked me what do you want to talk about, I think the message from yesterday was like, let it, like what worked yesterday was surrender.
Yeah.
For me was, I literally went to bed in the middle of the day. I never do that. And I just passed out. It felt like I was being reworked.
Mm-hmm.
I even got, in the beginning of the day, I found that I had a tick on me. I was like, and I've had Lyme disease, so I was like, okay, I believe, um, the first time I got Lyme disease, oh, the only time that I know I got Lyme disease, it was an ass kicking. I literally was like, it felt like a different kind of form of yesterday. And to me, it felt like something in me, when I paused and said, "What's going on? Why is this overtaking me like this in such a dramatic, mean, like aggressive way?" And it said, "You need to be realigned.
Mm.
This is realigning you." So, okay, I said, all right, that sounds cool. I'm surrendering to this, but you get in, you get out, and you take nothing more than you need. That's what I was like. Here's the deal. And I was for a whole week. I was out. I couldn't stand light. I couldn't stand sound. I was freezing and sweating at the same time. And I just slept it through and was gone. And yesterday when I got the tick bite, I was like, oh shit. But I was like, you know what? Maybe it needs a little reworking. I just thanked the tick.
Mm.
I did kill the tick, so full disclosure. But it was just that whole thing of like, you just surrender to what is, instead of like,
I know, it's and it's so hard. Like I've been thinking a lot lately, or my experience has been, there's like two sides of me, right? There's this soul side of me, which is like, can see the higher purpose for things. It's like my higher self can see the pattern to this, can see the opportunities that are coming forward, and really, like, really for real, like, get that part. And then there's like my personal self,
Yeah, yeah.
um the inner child, or just like my human self, and which has a totally different experience of this situation, and is kind of getting an ass whooping, and I think that, and I'm switching back and forth between those two perspectives. Like, I'm fine, and then I'm not fine. Oh, this is amazing, and then this is terrifying, and I think that that's what's so interesting about this time, when you're talking about surrender or letting go. We really have no choice. Like, we're in this.
If you fight it, you will really do some damage. It really is. It's real. You know what the word is, which is one of those words for us is sometimes hard. Trust.
Mm,
The trust that you have to trust that this horrible feeling is taking you someplace good.
right.
It
This
feels
whole
really,
experience, even
yeah.
like,
It's crumbling, and you're like, I can't let go. It's like, let go, can't let go. This is all the strength we've been taught is to not let go, to hold on, to fight it, to like, and it's just let go,
mm-hmm.
just let go, and that's the fear. That's where it hurts.
Yeah, the personal self hates to let go. The inner child self, like our soul self, understands how to do it, but our personal self is like, it's terrifying to let go of what we know,
Mm.
of the familiar, even if it's not great. And there's a lot in our world that isn't great, that hasn't been great for a while, and
But familiar, yeah.
yeah, but familiar. And now I think what's one of the opportunities we have is like choosing, like, do we really, like, what do we want to hold on to? Do we really, we were all sort of on the hamster wheel here, working like crazy to support lives that don't really make us happy, and what are we letting go of that we could let go of? And so what do you think we are letting go of, Maria?
I think so. In my book, I talk about the formula, of get a good education to get a good job, to find a mate, da, 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 what I
Right.
call the herd, HERD operating system. I love that we both have mugs. Here's to you. I love this. It's like we're chatting. Yay! And and right now that is, and when you got scared, you could always go back to that, like, like you do your passion job, but then if the bills start piling up, you go back to that safe job that you know how to do,
Right.
that thing that you hate but you can pay. That job is no longer there now. I mean, this is, if you think about, 9/11 was horrific and it was brilliant. They used, what we had. They didn't get a bomb, they used what we had against us. That was brilliant, right? And what's happening now with the universe is something brilliant. It's like one thing takes out the whole planet. It's not like, oh, the people who have this much money, or the people who are in this part of the world. It's global, epic. It doesn't, it's like, yo, you're a human being. You're in this body, and this body belongs to this Mother Earth, and that you cannot get around, no matter how smart you humans think you are, because
Mm.
that's our brains that have gotten us to this shithole space, and it's I think it's the world, Mother Earth recalibrating in a hardcore, vroom, along with the energy side. But it's, we humans, there's a meme that I saw on Facebook about, you know, this is how you can tell fox were here. It's like the fox prints, and this is how you can tell bears were here, and the bear prints, and this is how you can tell humans were here, and it was like trash.
Trash. Yeah.
And we've been trashing and trashing, and we've done it in some way. I mean, like, I sometimes think of, like, when I make a meal and I have to eat very consciously right now. For me to eat healthy, I use a bunch of plastic. Like, I buy products that are in packaging, and it's horrible. And but I don't, what do I really do about it? Like, I use my own bags or whatever, but really, what do I do? And this is like, well, you got to do something. This is the, well, that, look, there are no more passes like that.
It's like the hard reset, you know,
Hard reset.
the hard reboot.
Yeah, it's a hard
Yeah,
reboot.
I
And
know. we don't have a choice. Like, I love what you said, like, money isn't insulating people. Like, there's no, I work with the tarot cards a lot, and I've been pulling the death card.
Yeah.
And of course that card has a lot of meanings, people are dying clearly.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about it is that, there's the caricature of death, and he's got his scythe, and in front of him there's the Pope and the King and the woman, the man, the woman, and the child, and the meaning of that card is that it's change and transformation,
Right.
which death is the ultimate form of that in a way. But the meaning of the card is that no one is immune to that. No one's immune. Like, there's no money or religion or anything
knowledge
can,
or
knowledge
anything,
exactly that you can do to. And even if we're not talking about death, we are talking about transformation. Like, and I don't know. That's what it feels like to me, and I think that's why it's so scary. Like, we have to let go of our illusion that we have control over the situation in a way, and that's so hard, isn't it?
It's really so one up it with the cancer diagnosis. So you get,
Yeah. Let's talk
right,
about that.
you talk about, like, you get, so I always say that I got diagnosed with it, not that I have it, because to me it's like a transitional thing. I know that scares a lot of people, like I'm delusional or something, but it's just how you label it, how you let it sit in your energy space. um, and that's exactly what I've been going through with this cancer diagnosis. Like, you can eat all the right things or do all the right treatments or whatever, and you're still gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have, like, for me, it's super, super, super strong what my intuition is telling me. It's super strong. Like, I can envision one thing, like for me, using chemo, using all of those things, for me, I'm just saying, for me, I'm not saying it's a standard. Everyone needs their own path. I want to be very clear. But for me, it feels like that is not, like, you will die if you use that. That's what it feels like. 100% clear message. Um, and that means, okay, well, that, when I'm drinking this, what am I drinking? Well, this is hot water with ginger after I've already had, like, a raw piece of garlic, like I have every morning, and all my supplements and all that. So it means the meditation part, which I resist like crazy, if I'm honest. Like, I resist the meditation. I would much rather be doing something else. And it's like, it's that fight of, who do you want to show up as? Like, what do you want? What do you want to feed? Like, which animal do you want to feed?
Right.
And, a cancer diagnosis means death to a lot of people. Like, the first thing they say is, I'm sorry. And it's like when my daughter Sophia died, like, I'm sorry. It's like, I wish there was something else people would say. I get that it's like, I feel, but it's almost like I feel bad for, it's like, I wish there were another word, like ooh la la or something like that, that would be like, I believe in you, like, power to you, like, you've been, like take the task and fly with it. Like, I wish there were a word that would be like, you got this, or I give energy to your flow instead of to your stock, like some word,
Mm.
you know
Yeah,
because death is being given to you. Like, you are going to, literally, they told me I would die in December, last December.
that's what the doctors told you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, they said, if you
About
don't
a
do
year.
this treatment, you have triple negative, which means you will die by December, maybe January. You will die. And he's saying this in front of my husband and, my kids, like, and so they took it like, you don't want to live, and you want to leave us. You're not willing to fight. You're weak. And it's not that. I can't do what other people want me to do. I just can't. And I initially, this is the second time it came. The first time I did do what they wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew up from the size of a pea to the size of a grapefruit in less than a year. And so that was me not listening to my intuition, getting feedback like, mm-mm, mm-mm. And I got it, fool me once, fool me twice. I'm like, oh, I got it. So I'm very, very clear. It's almost neurotic in a way. Like, I'm like, oh no, mm-mm, you know. Um, but
Just takes incredible courage. Like, I just want to take a minute to honor you, because I don't know too many people who have the courage to take a stand for their charting their own course, and it's such a parallel. So what's going on now, like, what with the energy of death that's going on, and that fear, and there's such incredible, like you said, a death sentence and fear that goes with the C word coronavirus, C word cancer. We got a few of them. We're gonna add some new C words in here. I just I just think it's incredibly brave for you to kind of really feel into your own thing, and I know that triggers the heck out of people that are around you that are afraid you're going to die, by choosing your own way of dealing with this. And yet I feel like I can see in you that's power, like it's empowering you to do that. And it's super, super challenging too.
It is super challenging. I met this woman along the way, and there's always like when you start getting into this work, you start seeing you come from the dark into the light, like the ignorance to the knowledge. Um, and you realize that through your life, there have been people throughout your life, just usually for a second. They're not long lasting relationships, but um, that give you something that you need, and then
Mm.
you're like, oh, there are all these points of light. And for me, there was a woman who is probably in her 80s, total white hair, um, kind of mystic looking, bright blue eyes, and a super wrinkly face. And she said to me, she held my hand, and she said, a total stranger, I met her like for a second. She said, when you heal the cancer, you will heal it for the whole planet. Thank you for healing it for us. And I'm just like, that just like hit me like total stranger. And it was like, she knows like the community work I do. So she knew me. I did not know her, but she just, the way she said it was like, it hit my cells. It's like a knowing, and it was the divine feminine. It was everything. And, being of the warrior clan and saying like, this is your warrior mission to heal it for all of us. That's something I could understand and embrace. Like, even if my family doesn't understand, and even if they're mean to me, and even if they're cruel at times, um, I know at the end of my life, like I did, even if I die doing what I'm doing, it feels like it's the right thing to do. And I cannot teach my clients, I can't say to my coaching clients, do this. And then I do the formula, go back to the fear and go back to the formula of what other people think I should do. I
Right.
just can't. I just can't. It's like not breathing. Do
Mm.
you have moments like that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do, and I mean, I don't have the experience that you have, and I think cancer is like from an energy medicine perspective, it comes in any sort of disease that could have a terminal diagnosis comes in a way force us to change, or invite us to change. Really
That's a
life.
invite. That's like
A good, yeah,
like the
or
mob invites you to do something.
right. It's like an initiation experience,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And
I
and,
can
it,
see it.
and sort
Yeah.
of, I think the mortality aspect of it, um, kind of like ups the game, and talk about letting go. Like the stakes are very high here.
Yeah, you
Like
forgot you were a human being. You forgot you're here temporarily. How about this?
right,
Woo!
exactly. And that, that initiation experience, like Carolyn Mace says, and initiations, that enlighten you or cripple you or kill you. It's like
Yeah.
that. It's not joking around. It's like
Isn't she awesome? Can you
they're
imagine the three of us talking together?
I know.
Oh my God, that would be epic. Oh,
I'll see if I can get her.
that
No,
would be awesome.
but I think that's where you are. With this cancer diagnosis is in that initiation stage, so it's change and upgrade or die. You know, and my spiritual teacher Bob Lancer would say, well, that's we forget, like you said, you just said it. We forget that we're eternal beings. We forget that this is a moment in a human body for you, but it's not the whole of you, you know? And I don't know, there's something I think even more loaded into this that you're dealing with this during this time of Corona, because we're all in the same state now.
Yes.
Really being in that crucible of the initiation.
Yes.
What is our change or die moment? What is our, how do we change our relationship with the
Mm.
planet, our relationship with each
Mm.
other, our relationship with our jobs, with our families, with ourselves? Like we're all having to face that, like to drop the illusion that we're that we're all being invited to drop the illusion that we're not eternal beings.
Yeah. And at the same time that we're not eternal beings, the body's not eternal.
Right.
Where we play that game of like, this is who I am,
Yes.
and that's everything.
Yes.
And yeah, it's really, it's stuff that, you read these things and poems and you post them everywhere. And it's like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Now live it. Now live it.
Now live it. That's right.
You posted it. Now live it. Oh, you're not going to live it? Like, watch this. And it's like, it can be really, really scary. It can be,
That's so
well, it
intense.
is scary because your world is crumbling. Welcome, humans. Your world is crumbling.
Yeah.
On another front, though, I have a rail trail by my house, and you see old people walking hand in hand together. You see young people with their, like little kids with their parents, all of them with huge smiles, all of them. Like this, there's never been endless time together with no work for the most part. Endless time together. And I know right now it's at the beginning, so people still have food and everything, and that might start to shift and all that. But it is so amazing that people are have this time to just again connect with nature. To the movement part is so important. I mean, yeah, a lot. I mean, the first thing is going to be, yeah, you're going to start binge watching a lot. That's your first go to technology. After a while, that gets kind of old.
And eating everything in sight. They're,
Yeah. Oh,
they're
I
talking
wouldn't
about
know
the
anything about
quarantine
that.
15, the
I wouldn't
quarantine
know
15.
anything about that.
It's a good thing we're all in our stretch pants and our pajamas.
Like,
But that's
woo,
old, right? Like we're gonna get back into our groove.
is Trader Joe's open? I need to. I cannot go grocery shopping because I'll buy like. I'm the creative grocery shopper. Doug's like, how did you get all this stuff? Well, because
So what do you think else is the opportunity here? Like what else is possible for us? What if we're gonna look at the other side?
I
The
I
opportunity
I
side.
I say to my clients and I say to my friends and I say to my family right now. Um, I mean, what's possible is true alignment, like the kind of alignment where like this planet is ending, right? Um, where the global warming, like, so this affects global warming, right? Like the things that were keeping us stuck, we are actually giving our planet a break to heal, for
Right.
things to grow. Like we're not using oil, we're not it's kind of like mother nature took her own way of doing it.
Mm.
Took
Mhm.
her own way of doing it. I was like corona. I was like,
Whoa.
what uh, um uh, to prevent or to help, I think right now one of the key things that people can do is deep, deep, deep self-care. Like, no joke, like figure out the three things that you can do every day. And if some days you can do five, great. But like, I think meditation, I teach 1 minute meditations. I think that that's really important for people to do. Like
Yeah.
to do it 3 times a day, because it kind of gets you. Energy doesn't know time, it just knows connection points. So when you do it throughout the day 3 times, even at the end of the day, if you okay, it's now, I don't even know what people have it for bedtimes anymore. Like I went to bed at 3 in the morning so I don't even know. But it's like one of those things where if you do it at the end of the day, you do 1 minute, you stop, you do another 1 minute, stop, because it's like almost like doing octaves.
Oh.
It connects, and you start connecting to that part that is, like what you said, eternal, that part of you that is always there. You also have a physical body, so like making sure you're drinking lots of water, not other crap, just as
Mhm.
filtered water as you can get. And drink water. If you can put lemon in it, especially in the morning, that's awesome. If you can use organic, great. If you can't, bless it before you put it in your food, before you put it in your drink, like things like that. Fluffing, like I'm learning all sorts of things about like that you're in the bottom layer of your skin, like right off of the your layer of skin, there's all your lymph nodes and stuff are right under the skin. So I thought you had it like really, you don't. It's just the sloughing. I fluff all the time now
Mm,
with my girls, like because I have a huge lymph node that's inflamed right now, and I'm always fluffing, like to fluff your legs, to get like a brush and just brush your legs. Look those up online.
dry brushing.
Yeah, because we're more sedentary. To get outside this morning, but to prepare for this interview, I got a calling because your intuition will start talking to you really loud. And it'll come in the form of like you just got an idea. You're like, oh, I don't know what intuition is. You just got an idea. It popped in, and mine said, go outside, and it's raining here,
Yeah.
and walk barefoot. So I took off my, there's that. I took off my socks and I went outside. I rolled up my pajama pants and I walked outside, avoiding the poop piles from my dogs. They're idyllic. No, they were, we cleaned yesterday, but like over the grass and just like that contrast and that connection to Mother Earth of like, thank you
Yeah.
for this period of time. You know, that's what's gonna make you not go crazy. That's what's gonna, forget that. That's what's gonna give each person their um, their stationary, make this less turbulent, make this less painful.
Right.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I think we really need to ground. And I mean, as my whole thing is like teaching and training sensitive empaths, healers, working with the empaths right now is really intense. And I'm, I'm doing a whole new class. I just decided starting tonight. It's called Developing Spiritual Immunity. And it's 5 days quick class on how, as sensitives, do we step into this new space, because we need our energy management times 10. Like, it's not the old stuff times 10. It wasn't working the way, so we need to like level up our game and work on our energy management, learn to handle our emotions, because it's so emotional. So I'm doing this quick class, and so I've been thinking about these things, and all the things that you mentioned are things I think we need to do. And grounding, like getting your feet on the ground barefoot, is so important, because we disconnect ourselves from the earth when we wear rubber-soled shoes, which is basically all the time.
All the time. Yep.
Yeah, and then so I think we really like, it's so easy to try and drop your self-care when we go under stress, when we go we binge, we eat, we like let go of our routines and our disciplines that kind of help us stay in our zone. So I think we actually need to double down on those things, and lean into them more and more. And I do think the intuition is, so when you're in your soul self, all the things that put you into your soul self, because your soul self knows how to navigate through this time and get you to the other end of it. The personality self is just like, wah!
Yeah.
And it's not really a great place to make decisions from. Like for me, I like I deal with myself kindly when I'm in that state, but then I do things to put myself back into my soul self, because I just feel so much more powerful there, and like I know what to do when I'm there.
That's awesome. I just got to hit um, while you said that, and I've never heard of this, or it'd be so cool to create a panic box. So when you're starting to wig out,
Yeah.
that you create a box when you're in alignment, right? You create
Yeah.
it when you're in a really good place, you're in a really good flow, that you or call it an oh shit box. And inside are things that you need. Like, and mine would be like these beads, or there'd be like incense, or there'd be my journal, or there would be pictures of things that my kids, or
Mm.
uh, a reminder of people I can call, or really, really fancy candles that I don't light for just anything, or something that is just your oh shit box, or your yummy box, or your I belong box, or pictures of you as a kid, or a favorite toy.
Right.
Love toys. I love the little, the tiny little figurines or something. Like I love that. So stuff like that, right? And oh shit
Yeah.
box.
Or don't panic box.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Adult panda box. I know mine would have sage in it because I read an article recently that says sage is like super antimicrobial and antiviral, and I don't know if it's true, but
It is true. It
I'm
is
like
true.
bringing that stuff out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like so I would have mine would have sage and Palo Santo and my tarot
Oh,
cards.
Palo Santo is amazing. I just went last week to the Enchanted Fox, a local store that you know very well, and I was like, they're probably suffering a lot too. So I went there and was like, I'm going to buy some sage. I'm going to buy some Palo Santo, like just to go there and be like, hey, this is like a couple weeks ago where you could still go out, but just to support them.
Yeah, good. I love that. Yeah, mine would have chamomile tea bags in it, like.
Right?
Mm,
Maybe a favorite mug that's only for emergencies.
ooh,
Right? Like stuff like that that you already have that you
yeah,
like that for some people it might be a shot of whiskey or something. I don't know. Like whatever it is for you, that you only open in case of emergency.
I love
Right?
it. I love it. That's such a cool idea.
Right. Well, it was
Let's do
born
it.
from our our
Let's
our
do
our commingling.
it. And just before we end, Maria, I want let's talk for a minute about like what do we think is coming? Like what do we think the new world? And because I feel like if we think about this is my fancy in a way, but if we really concentrate on it, think about it, dream it into existence,
Mm,
maybe maybe we part of our opportunity here is to pull a better reality out of the ethers with our collective positive thinking, right? So how what world are we stepping into that's going to
mhm.
be better than the world we're leaving?
So my focus, like the perfect world for me would be the set of Sesame Street because it's literally all shapes and colors living together. There's the cranky guy, there's the happy guy, there's everyone belongs. It's not like everyone's fake happy, right? It's just it's that. It's like right now we're going through contractions and contractions hurt.
Yeah,
Contractions hurt. So you're gonna it's like almost like shock waves. If there's an earthquake, it's gonna be one shock wave. So these shock waves are not gonna like yesterday, that's gonna continue going. The more that we let go, the more that we release, I think that's gonna be one final thing that I would like to say. This is a huge thing to say at the end, but um part of the massive message I got, like why am I here? Why was I born? Is what we're here to do. What are humans here to do? We're here to transmute the energy. So as empaths, that means we hear it where other people are not bothered by these things. This person next to you might not even see what you're seeing, and you're dying inside going, I can't believe, and they're like, what are you talking about? They don't see it.
right.
I think we are the fire alarms, we're the alarm system,
The canary.
almost almost like we can transmute why we feel it and they don't is because we can transmute the energy.
Right.
And to me, I set up vats, like these big bins, where I dump it in there and it transmutes it from stuck to flow, from hate to love. So like Trump, I stick him in those vats all the time. Washington D.C., the KKK, Russia, I stick myself in the vats. Like anyone who's feeling icky, you stick it in it. And when I do this, like when I do it really pretty hardcore. And the more I've been doing it lately, I don't do it every day because it's too intense to do every day. But when I do it, I'm noticing more and more. It's like whack a mole. Like I see other people popping up in DC doing it too. Like so, I'm not the only one getting these visions, these hits, and I'm getting total goosebumps right now. So I ask you and everyone else, like when you feel inspired to take, when you feel something, we got horrible news, instead of shutting down, which is what the only thing we usually do, like deflect or shut down, or I don't listen to the news, is to listen to it. And when it hits you, to just dump it, just like the trees in the Amazon rainforest transmute the carbon dioxide into oxygen. Human beings, we can transmute that negative energy
Yeah.
into the flow, and that's going to help with the contractions. That's going to help with the whole planetary. That's why I think, and we talked about this the other day, you and I, Lisa. I almost wish my childhood had been worse, because I almost feel like this, everything I've ever learned is for this moment in time right now, because it's taught me to be a warrior. It's taught me like all this contrast, and contrast is wisdom. So all the shit that you went through, thank it, and like it's made you stronger, and now use it to transmute that icky energy. Don't hold it in your body. Learn how to let it go.
And how do you do that? Do you do that through breath or through visualization?
Totally visualization, like it comes in, and you feel it, right? You feel it first. So let's say you get, Trump did this week, right? And he's just a sad little boy who was not loved. That's, I don't hate Trump anymore. I just feel sorry for him, and he's a great catalyst for change. But he's hurt, and he's hurting a lot of people in real time. So I imagine like that shitstorm, and I literally put him in the vats. Sometimes I put the vats on him, because if you do it enough times, you'll see how it shifts. It's not like a one fits all formula. And he does not, that kind of energy, just like if you have someone who's really angry and there are happy people around them, they do not like that sometimes. Right, like you can tell that they don't like that energy. But it's like it's taking it and taking stuck and adding flow to it.
Right. I learned a breathing technique for it, which is like a Buddhist technique,
Yeah.
of it breathing in suffering. You don't breathe it into your body, but when
Yeah,
you're feeling suffering already, you like open up your heart and you burn it like fire in your heart. And
oh, that's so beautiful.
yeah, it's actually the Sacred Heart of Jesus image. Like, so like the Sacred Heart is like when your heart is the sword of pain pierces your heart, and then it's the fire of divine flames that come out and burn it. And I know, because I do this all the time when I work with people, that compassion, the compassion, the fire of that compassion transforms suffering in the world. So as us sensitives, when we let ourselves feel the pain and then feel compassion for our pain, and feel compassion for other people's pain, when we can stay present and do it consciously, we actually take suffering out of the world. That's the Sacred Heart, the message.
That's it. So that's what it is. When you transmute the energy, you're
Yeah.
literally taking the icky, like this.
Yeah.
That's why I love to give the Amazon rainforest. You're taking the carbon dioxide. Trees don't know they're doing it; they just do it, right? So it's not like a big production. They just take it, and it's no effort for them. It's food. It's food for them, and
Right.
this is soul food for us. For us to take the ick of the world, and not, it doesn't involve us. It's like it doesn't take anything from us. We just literally, with our imagination, transmute it. And I have to say, when you said Jesus' heart, that's so crazy, because when earlier in the call, when I closed my eyes, how it's like you close and you see, like, if you looked at light, you close and you see like the yellow of the light in the darkness. Well, when I closed my eyes, I saw like the image of Jesus. I was like, that is weird. I've never had that. And then you say that. I love when stuff like that happens.
Cool.
You don't
Yay.
rock.
So,
Hey, Jesus Christos.
yeah, and I think like when I think about the future, that's sort of what I think about, is just like the Christ energy, the Christ, like, and it's Easter, like we're coming up on that time, and the energy of death and rebirth that goes with that. And I think that I don't know how to do that. Like, I'm just feeling my way through it like everyone else, but I feel like that's what's possible here, is for us to take a few more steps towards consciousness, toward, the highest level consciousness that we can, and that this is an awakening. We're waking up, and that this initiation, this cauldron that we're in, is waking up a lot of people who are on the verge of waking up, or who were totally sleeping, and it would only take this like dope smack that we're
Dope smack.
like boom, like
Era of the dope smack.
to really,
That's what it is.
yeah, that really are smacking us awake and making us think about our priorities. What's really important? What do we really need? What are our real values? What are our values towards with ourselves, our planet, our communities, our friends, our loved ones? Like this is this awakening that's happening. And is it painful? Absolutely. And I don't want anybody to be in pain or suffer or die. Like, I hate that part of it. And that's where I do the breathing. When I feel overwhelmed by that's where I bring in the compassion. And then I can also sort of rest in the faith. I have faith that that this is an awakening process that we really need, because I think we were getting kind of close to the skinny edges of the branches for human survival here. Like, and we didn't even really know it. Or a lot of people knew, but not enough people knew that, maybe it took something, this is an opportunity to really shift our consciousness into a more global, like, okay, we all need to pull together to survive. And we kind of weren't. Like, we were on a bad track there for a while.
Yeah. And even with what people are doing now to get masks or to get ventilators or to get this, like people finding them in crypts and finding them in basements and attics, and like, here, giving it. What do you need? What do you need? Like, people
Right.
being kind to each other, people, like, because now this is not a human to human issue. It's like the humans this is attacking all humans. Suddenly we have no gender. Suddenly we have no race. Suddenly we
Right.
have no ethnicity. It's like, or country. It's super power. It's brilliant. Like, it's just such a brilliant plan.
Have you noticed, like, the hate talk is really down?
Yeah.
Like the polarizing hate that we had just even a few months ago, which was so
Yeah.
toxic and
And
so
stupid. It's
and
just
it's
stupid.
so hard to deal with. Like, it, and that seems like it's not now. I hear so little of it, so it's like down to a minimum, and we're really, it's like we needed this sort of outside common foe, if you will,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to kind of pull together as human beings and reestablish our priorities here. It was either like a virus or aliens landing on the White House lawn. It was going to be
Yeah,
one
I
or the
really
other.
thought the aliens were coming. I was like, something's gonna
I
hit.
had my money on the aliens, but I knew that for myself, like, that this was on deck. Like, this is what I came here for. And ever since I was little, my guides told me this kind of thing would be happening. Um, and in the past few years, I started worrying about a pandemic. Like, that sort of was, I wondered if that's what it would be. But I knew something would happen, and that whatever that was, I was here to help.
Yeah,
That I was here to help, just like you are, just
yeah.
like so many of us are. And that's why we're having this conversation.
I used to have these dreams of like uh World War III, post-apocalyptic, real. I mean, all the time. Like, every night I would go to this place. Every night I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? And I don't have those dreams anymore.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that something shifted. I'm hoping that this
Yeah.
is the massive wake, because it's such a beautiful planet. And when you think you're never going to see a tree again, or trees will die, or like, I don't want the trees to die. I don't want, like, these animals to be decimated. Like, I just don't, like, come on. And it felt like a runaway train. And right now it feels like, oh, I'm ripping out the tracks. Now what are you going to do with your train? It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Someone ripped out the tracks.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
It's that pattern interrupt that we really
Yeah.
need, so that we could make some choices about where we're going, what
So,
we
so
want.
things like this right now, I don't know where people listening to are. Just like right now, think about like going back old school, like plant a garden that you may need to grow food, because we don't know what's happening. Like, have a backup plan. Um, what are and the other side, like, what are some skills that you're going to need to know, to whether it is the meditation or playing the piano, or like, what's inspiring you, what's hitting you, because these why are you even alive? Why are you even here? Is it just to pay your bills? Like, is it really like, oh, no, I'll get to that later? Well, later's now.
Mm-hmm.
Later's now. What are you here to do? So when you do get a cancer diagnosis, it's like, oh, I gotta fight to live. What am I live for? What am I living? What does my life look like?
Right.
Why am I so what? I have to live for what? So I can binge watch Ozark, or like, so I can, why do I want to live? Like, what is my life worth? And that's why we're here. I mean,
Yeah. Beautiful.
you know,
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Was so beautiful, and it's so true. And I think we should end, because we've been jabbing on here for a while, and but I'm
this
so
is so
grateful that
epic.
I know,
This
and
is
I'm so
so
grateful that we
awesome.
got a chance to talk, and that and just connect this way. So I love you, Maria, and
I love you, Lisa.
I'm so glad that I'm so glad that you're still here. Let's keep still being here together.
Let's so and truly be here. Thanks for
Right.
making me cry. Get you later. I love you so much. Thank you,
I
Lisa.
love you too.
Bottom of my heart, honestly.
What's your webpage, honey, so people can find you?
It's coachmemaria.com.
Mm-hmm.
Super simple.
Good.
Coach
And
me.
you
Maria.
guys sign up for coaching with Maria because she's fantastic and she will change your life for sure. And thank
Usually it's short
you.
and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not so sweet right now. Now it's weird. It's weird coaching now. It's like, what?
Right, right.
People right on the edge.
It's a good time to get coaching,
Great
actually.
time to get coaching.
So thank you guys. Thank you all for watching and being here with us. It's been fun to see the comments come through. So thank you. And thank you, Maria. See y'all later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, sweetie. Love you.